welcome to Meeting Malcolmus, a pavement podcast. Hey, it's JD here, back for another week of scandal and intrigue, as your favorite podcast about pavement has now reverted to a podcast about political unrest. And no, I'm fucking with you. I don't know how to intro this anymore. We're done. We're over. We're finished with this, glorious beast of a podcast. And here I am still talking at you. So I don't know how to reconcile this for you. There's going to be times where I just want to talk to you, and I will continue to do that despite the subject of this podcast. The cat is out of the bag. I have launched a new podcast called The Berman Project, and it went live last Monday on the 3rd anniversary of David's passing. So it is now available for you in all the podcatchers. It's not searchable apparently yet in Apple Podcasts. You can help rectify that by searching for it in Google. Google search The Berman Project and Apple Podcasts. I would hope a few inquiries on that would ultimately lead to a solution, and that can be rectified. In the interim, what you need to do is you need to go to the red letter Meeting Malcolmus page and capture the RSS. So, sorry, I said the red letter. What I mean is go to meetingmalcolmus.com, and there's a link for the RSS feed. You can copy and paste that RSS feed into the Add a Show by URL feature in Apple Podcasts. But we are, like I say, available supposedly on Spotify. I mean, there's been hits. People have been taking it. But what's really funny is two of you out there found this well before I went live with it. I've been dropping clues like a breadcrumb trail for the last little bit, and in the Meeting Malcolmus Twitter feed. And a few of you reached out and were like, is this what I think it is? And I was blown away that, you had guessed. But I will say that even beyond that, somebody found the podcasts. So I don't know how that happened, but they did, because there were 2 downloads that came. God, I posted that podcast up there 3 weeks ago, and I want to say maybe 4 weeks ago. Yeah, maybe a month ago. And I want to say it had hits within 5 days. So somebody was just searching around somewhere or something. Or maybe that's Apple pinging it to approve it in their store or whatever. I don't know. That was a long way of saying it's there for you in podcast form. There is also a Twitter feed. The podcast is The Berman Project. Twitter is Berman Project. I'll start an Instagram if somebody wants one. Shout me out. Send me an email, jd@meetingmalcolmus.com. And if you're looking for Insta or what else would I do? I would have a YouTube channel. That would be no problem. If you like to listen to podcasts on YouTube, I can make that happen. Yeah, damn it. What was I going to say? No TikTok, because I don't even know how to use TikTok. I don't get it. It shows how old I am, but it's every time I go on there, and there's nothing wrong with what I'm about to say, but it's always showing me scantily clad women. And I'm guessing, I don't know, I searched for scantily clad women at one point and it's in my algorithm. I don't know. I have no idea. But maybe a little TMI from JD there, huh? What do you think? A little too much information? I don't know. Anyway, the Berman Project, you can find it on Twitter at Berman Project. at Berman Project. Please follow me there. And unlike the Malcolmist page, I will follow back. I want to hear from you. I want to know, what you're about. I want to create a community around this show because this show means a lot to me. This show is about mental health and mental wellness. And it relates to the titular David Berman, who we know, suffered. And, God, I shouldn't say that. Because you never know that somebody suffered. You never know. Some people find a way of reveling in their states that they're in, the various states of mental unwellness. Some people find a way to just sort of simmer. Some people fight it like a motherfucker and don't, grab the bull by the horns and press that fucker into the dirt. They aren't necessarily suffering. So I certainly don't want to paint anybody with that brush. What I've decided to do as well is have a web page. So there is a web page. Again, we can sort of create some sort of community around that, or I can start a Facebook group if that works. I don't know. What do people do now? Discord? Would I use Discord? Somebody tell me. What do I need to do to create a community for this new show? Or is there nothing? And if there's nothing, that's totally cool. I don't expect this show to be for everybody, whether you're not a Jews fan or you're not a JD fan, and you persevered this podcast because it was, excuse me, pavement based. I can't say, but I can say that I welcome you. I welcome you to try this out and to help shape what this podcast is going to be as well. I think we can do something pretty special with this one. So without further ado, what I'd like to do now is kick it off to the pilot episode. Not the pilot episode, sorry. You'll never hear the pilot episode ever. It was awful. But this is the first episode, The Berman Project 001, Canada. This is the Berman Project. Hey, it's JD here, and this is the Berman Project. Welcome. Come on inside, get warmed up. It's actually get cooled off. It's a hell of a day out there today. We have heat warnings in the city that I'm in, Toronto. Lots of worry about the people on the streets this weekend, in particular, with this warning going on. So, no matter where you are, hope you're safe and hope you're curious, because I've got a new therapist, and one of the things that she's telling me to do is to be more curious. And, that means asking questions of the voices in my head. Why are you here right now? Why did you choose right now to decide to absolutely destroy me with negative self-talk? I don't understand. So we're here weekly going through the catalog of David Berman. He is the titular Berman in the Berman Project. David Craig Berman, or David Cloud Berman, as you might refer to him. We're going to go through his works if I can find some of the really early stuff with Ectoslavia, I'll gladly play that. But we're going to start with his actual catalog, which is Silver Jews, starting with Dime Map of the Reef, and wrapping up with Purple Mountains, going through Purple Mountains. We're also going to enjoy some of his work from his collection of poetry, Actual Air. And we're going to learn some shit along the way about both Berman and me, hopefully, because I'm fucking broken.
Canada!
Man, I am going to personally make my way to Ottawa and lobby Justin Trudeau, our prime minister, into making that the new fucking Canadian national anthem. Who's with me? That's Canada by the Silver Jews, coming off their first EP, Dime Map of the Reef. It was released in 92, but prior to the release of this collection of songs, the band was making music. They had been making music since 1989. They were concurrent or a little ahead of where Pavement comes into the picture. So that should dispel any myths of Silver Jews being a Pavement side project. Not the case at all. SM and Bob and David were living in New Jersey at the time that they formed this band that came from the remnants of another band called Ectoslavia, which I want to say was 89 as well. I'll tell you, if you want to read a fascinating Wikipedia entry, read David Berman's entry. It's great. I'm going to be, hopefully looking at bits and pieces as we go through this. But in the interim, we're just here to explore. We're really here to listen to some great music. And what we just heard is boisterous and incredibly lo-fi, but it's got a charm to it, and it's got a melodic hook that fucking stays with you for days. So, despite its shortcomings, it's a good song. And there's it's a fun song. It's it's very different from where we're going to end up by the end of Purple Mountains for sure, but it's the beginning of something, and that's really neat. Like I was talking about earlier as well, the beginning of something. I've started seeing a new therapist, and like I mentioned, she's asking me to be more curious and less mercurial. No, but she said to be more curious. And and we do these crazy activities where it's almost like she's like conducting a seance with my inner voices. And I don't know how to describe it. It's just messed up, but so am I. And, I want it fixed. So I'm doing a lot of things. I've cut back on alcohol. If you follow the other podcast, you'll know that I'm a fan of the IPA, despite my lack of beard and cool dad clothes. I like an IPA. I can tell you that I, eat a lot and smoke a lot of weed. And while that was probably a good thing, years ago, it's less helpful right now when I'm trying to, get better. But man, it's really tough to go out and coming out of the pandemic, I'm even more fucked. I was social anxious before, and now, I'm incredibly social anxious, and I can relate to the experiences of David Berman. I can relate to the idea that this is a young man who was depressed, diagnosed depressed, I want to say at 15. So, I can go back to 18 for me, but I know there was shit going on before that. I can tell you that, the extreme feelings of self-loathing and unworthiness, I experienced those, and our friend David experienced those in ways that he conveys through his music and his writing at times. And it's wonderful, and it's startling, and it's scary as all hell. He lived a life that was a lot harder than a lot of people have had to live. Although, he did have some privilege in having a father who was a lobbyist, a lawyer, and then became a lobbyist, a famous lobbyist at that. I believe his father is still alive and lobbying for such terrible things as firearms and tobacco. And, so this proved to be a real thorn in the side of Berman in his later years. Although his father, is credited with having paid for his rehab in 2003, I believe, 2004. He was estranged from his father, right after that. And I don't know, the blanks have not been filled in. This was a guy that was incredibly successful at, the stuff that he put out in the world. He put out music that was widely acclaimed. He put out a book of poetry that sold over 20,000 copies. That's staggering for a book of poetry. He once almost had an HBO show made about his relationship with his father. He canceled the production on that. Like crazy stuff like that. And I'm using crazy with a capital C. I want to take back that word. That word, belongs to me. And I'm okay with being called, crazy. I'm mentally ill. I'm mentally unwell, but I'm on a path right now, I hope, for mental wellness. I was mentioning the smoke and the drink. I'm also doing a running program right now. You guys are the first people I'm telling about this. This is fucking bananas that I'm saying this out loud, because I don't do incremental learning very well. And this is all about incremental learning and taking small victories, which I'm not good at. And it's scary. But enough is enough. I want to be here. I want to I want to follow the advice that I gave myself years ago when I put a continue tattoo on my wrist. I want to get old. But that reminds me of how quick that is all happening. So there's that side too. I was talking to a friend today because I listened to Dark Side of the Moon for the first time in a long time. And he wrote back to me and he said, oh, every time I hear time, I'm crushed. I'm gut punched by the lyrics. So I looked up the lyrics, and these are the lyrics he was talking about. Tired of living in the sunshine, staying home to watch the rain. You are young and life is long, and there's time to kill today. And then one day you'll find 10 years have gone behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. And you run to catch up with the sun, but it's sinking, racing around to come up behind you again. The sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older, shorter of breath, and one day closer to death. It's really hard to say that without using the melodic structure, like the pentameter that it's written in, or sung in rather. So I was trying to read it like it's written line by line, but I was getting caught up. Yeah, fucking crazy. That's So I feel like I'm setting this long range goal, like to have things in a better place by the time I'm 50. But then that means I've missed 10 years of work, And how do I go back to that? That's crazy. This is nuts. I'm talking too much. Not enough David Berman here. Let's listen to a poem by Mr. Berman. This is called Snow. Walking through a field with my little brother Seth, I pointed to a place where kids had made angels in the snow. For some reason, I told him that a troop of angels had been shot and dissolved where they hit the ground. He asked who had shot them, and I said a farmer. Then we were on the roof of the lake. The ice looked like a photograph of water. Why, he asked. Why did he shoot them? I didn't know where I was going with this. They were on his property, I said. When it's snowing, the outdoors seems like a room. Today, I traded hellos with my neighbor. Our voices hung close in the new acoustics. A room with the walls blasted to shreds and falling. We returned to our shoveling, working side by side in silence. But why were they on his property, he asked. Fuck, what do you think of that? There's some cool stuff going on in there, right? You've got this protagonist that might be David, although in anything I've read, I haven't come across anything about a younger brother. So let's just attribute this to a protagonist, who has a younger brother named Seth, and they're walking. I can almost hear the snow crunching in their boots. But we get another really great image right off the bat with the roof of the lake. The ice looked like a photograph of water. Oh, that is good shit. Put that in my veins. That is nice. And then, all the way through, you've got the story of the little boy and the older brother talking about the snow angels being shot down by a farmer. And who is that? And the brother wondering, and rightly so, wondering why the hell these angels were put down. But then, it's intermingled with the idea of trading hellos with my neighbor. Our voices hung close to the new acoustics. Ooh, that is good. Yeah. Trying to dig to the center of that, I think is above my pay grade. I am still fucking radically uncool and radically underqualified to be doing this, the Berman Project, but here I am. So I hope you'll stick with me as we go through the catalog and enjoy some insight and enjoy some really great art. Until then, keep them clean. You know what I'm saying. Wash those hands. Talk to you next time. The Berman Project is a production of Douvres Podcasts and Such. You can find out more about the show at www.thebermanproject.xyz. That's right. I'm fucking Canadian. I'm also social. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, and all the rest at Berman Project.
Douvres Podcasts and Such.
So that's that. That is the first episode, the premiere episode of the Berman Project. If you are somebody that likes to subscribe to these things, as I mentioned before, they're available in all podcatchers. You can find the RSS feed at oh shit, before I said the Berman, I said Meeting Malcolmus, and that's not what you want. You need the Berman Project. So you need to go to the bermanproject.xyz. Yeah, I said Zed. Oh, I say that in the fucking closer, didn't I? Oh, you've just heard the same joke twice. That's Tareeb. So Tareeb. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to put the RSS feed on the bermanproject.xyz website, but I haven't done that at this point. So that's a work in progress. If anybody out there uses Wix and is a wizard with web pages and wants to throw me a bone and tell me what else I should put there, if anything, or how I can better use it, send me an email, jd@meetingmalcolmus.com. Again, hoping to create a community. It's the Berman Project, and it's JD. And I need an out. I need an out for that show. I stole this one. I stole Wash Your Goddamn Hands. Or is that just JD's outro? I don't know. This is so... I feel like I'm in some sort of... no, I don't. No. I feel perfectly normal. So, how normal do I feel? I feel normal enough to tell you to go wash your goddamn hands. See you next time. Meeting Malcolmus is a weekly affair and is a production of Douvres Podcasts and Such. Rate, review, share, and sponsor at meetingmalcolmus.com. Connect with JD at jd@meetingmalcolmus.com. And hey, I'm social. Follow me everywhere at Meeting Malcolmus.
Douvres Podcasts and Such.